What's good, Bless Our Podcast? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Jared. Y'all, today we're going to be talking about something that's going on with the Black Boule. And apparently, Roland Martin got into it with another person about Kamala Harris. Now, let's take out a video from Pink Book Lessons. Shout out to this sister. And I'm going to just say this right now. As I stated before, I used to watch Roland Martin Unfiltered. Now that I can see that he's a Democrat shield and he's only pandering to us so that he can get the Democrats voted in, when meanwhile they ain't done shit for any of us. We gonna check out this dysfunction at a black journalistic event, and I want you guys to see what happens here. Let's get it.
But that's not what you were talking about when you interrupted the speech. You kept saying he lied, but you weren't.
And I'm telling you
that's not what you were talking about.
That's
not what you said during the speech. I was listening to the speech, and I was listening to you
watching the speech.
Interrupt
Here's the deal.
The three panelists and the president. You were not one of the panelists. If you were the journalist, why weren't you up there asking questions?
We have journalists up here every year. We've been around 49 years. So we have
you
multiple
specifically,
journalists.
why were you not on that stage?
Let me be real clear.
You were just in the audience screaming that he lied?
Let me be real clear.
From row one?
Let me be real clear.
Who put you in row one?
Because you're cute and you get your little video. So you're talking to somebody who has far more history in this organization than you've ever been.
I'm not a member. That's true. I'm definitely not an NABJ member.
When you're not a member and you have no understanding of our history or our membership, you don't realize founders are sitting here. You don't realize that former presidents are sitting here.
Doesn't mean you get to just rudely interrupt from the first row.
Let me say it again.
That's not what journalists do.
Oh, actually, you have to.
You're not a panelist.
Are you a journalist?
I think I am. More so than you.
Are you a journalist?
Because I'm asking real questions right now. You're just filibustering.
Are you a journalist? Why are you a journalist? What's your organization?
Because I'm asking questions.
No. What's your media organization?
I'm independent. I'm asking you questions.
What's your media organization?
Oh, you need to be in a media organization?
Well, if you're going to be a journalist, you have to be with a media entity. So
oh, right. You need to be paid off by big corporate media?
No, actually. What's your media entity?
Who do you work for?
I work for me. I own my company.
Oh, really? So you're an independent journalist?
No.
Isn't that what I just said?
No, actually, but I named
this doesn't make any sense.
It's called Black Star Network. What's your company?
The what?
What's your company?
What's the state media company?
What's your company?
The company. It's called the company.
Oh, it's called the company?
It's called my company.
Okay, that's cute.
That's great.
Are you the CEO? Are you the CEO?
Maybe.
Listen, are you the CEO?
Why were you not on that stage?
Are you the CEO?
That's Roland Martin arguing at the NABJ convention. That's all he was doing the whole time, screaming and being emotional. Now, before the event, he spoke out against having an all-female panel to interview Trump.
No black male journalist. Got 4,000 members.
The truth is, he really didn't care about black men having a voice. He just wanted to wobble up there himself. No, he was not advocating for black men. He was advocating for Roland. He didn't want Trump at the event at all, but didn't care that the NABJ wasn't important enough for Kamala to show up too. They spent the last 2 weeks worshiping this non-black, racially ambiguous chameleon just for her to turn around and disrespect them by not having her at their event. Kamala knew about this event ahead of time, but didn't care to show up because she didn't want to face the old black media. I don't know what she's scared of. They're not going to ask her any questions about actual tangibles for black people, like what she supports specifically for her Red Dot Indian community or immigrants. I guess she's really not sure what would happen if she had to come off the speech that was already rehearsed and then.
You know, so I want to say something about this whole black journalistic event that was held with Trump. I want to say something about it. There's one thing I can say that Trump did, and that's actually show up at this event. And the fact of the matter is that Trump called out a lot of the shit that Kamala has been doing. He said, and I quote, "I've known her for a long time, indirectly. And as long as I've known her, she's always represented herself as an Indian, as a Hindu woman. Now 2020 comes and 2020 comes. Now she's all of a sudden a black woman. So is she Hindu or is she black?" And then you had one of the female journalists say that she's always been both. And that's when it went off the rails. Now, to that point, that journalist did not do her proper evaluation of the situation and proper evaluation of Kamala to actually say that she was black when she is in fact not. But back to Roland. Roland, are we really having this conversation about independent versus media company journalism? Because you're talking about your company. Yes, you have Black Star Network, and I'm going to change this podcast name sooner or later to something else that doesn't remind me of your network, so I don't get a copyright strike, or so I don't get a lawsuit for cease and desist for having a Black Star nameplate. So yes, this podcast is going to be getting his name changed sooner or later. But the fact of the matter is this. You're arguing over something that has nothing to do with what's really going on at that event. And you're telling me that you're arguing with another man on questions and arguing about what's journalism. A lot of people could say what you're doing is not journalism. It's basically shielding for the Democrats. That's what people can really say about you. Like, come on now, Roland. For you to be a media personality and a journalist, you sure do suck at damn actually reading the room.
She's really not sure what would happen if she had to come off the speech that was already rehearsed and answer questions. Her advisors don't want her to take any chances. So it didn't matter that Kamala the cosplaying chameleon snubbed them and the boogeyman.
Also, to that point, why wasn't she there? Like, let's ask the question. Why wasn't Kamala there? See, as I stated before, at least Trump showed up. She didn't even attempt to show up. That kind of makes me a little bit suspicious about what's going to happen with this debate that's coming up between Kamala and Trump. Because if we really think about it, when it comes down to her in these interviews, they've all been softball interviews. But let's say if somebody hits her with a hard question and she can't answer because she has nothing up top to actually think, I can only imagine what will happen. She's going to fall, she's going to flounder, and she's not going to be able to properly answer the question or give a competent response. It's going to be, like Judge Joe Brown said, a bunch of bullshit word salad.
Orange Man Bad actually showed up. Trump agreed to come. Kamala didn't, and that's why Roland Martin was already having a meltdown before Trump's appearance at the conference.
2, no black male journalists. Got 4,000 members. I'm down for the sisters. And if there were 3 black men and no sisters, I would be joining the sisters saying, where's representation?
It's the reason why they had 3 women on the panel and not 1 man. But he's so busy simping for Kamala the cosplaying chameleon, he can't even see what's really going on. During the Trump discussion, Roland was sitting up in the front row acting like a terrible 2-year-old, interrupting the ladies and Trump, which was also disrespectful, all because he wanted to be one of the women on stage and they wouldn't let him in. So he just sat there the whole time yelling from his high chair. Then when it was over, he went spreading his narrative on his platform and to all of his old black media friends, saying Trump shouldn't have been invited and how they should have cut him off, basically saying the discussion should have been like a baddies reunion. He's been criticizing the NABJ, asking why was Trump allowed to come when they've been inviting presidents and candidates for years. Obama Democrat, George Bush Republican. They're supposed to be unbiased media and professional. However, it's very obvious that they don't know how to do that. Because let's be honest, they would have never started an interview off like that with Kamala. They would have spent the whole time talking about her HBCU experience, being an AKA, and I can't forget the most important issue in the black community to Kamala, getting rid of more black babies. That's all they would have talked about. And let me tell you, every single one of them in the building would have been cheering the whole time. Yeah, cheering for our own destruction.
first of all, Kamala Harris didn't even show up. Kamala Harris didn't even show up because she don't feel like she needs to show up because she already knows she got the black votes lined up in Chicago and she don't have no respect for the black people. And let's not forget, she chicken. She complete chicken. She been saying she wanted to debate Trump, and this would have been the best time for her to be on stage with Trump and say whatever she wanted to say to him. But of course, she didn't even show up. The doggone interviewers, they were 35 minutes late because they had no respect for Trump either. But Trump, kudos to you for going into this bull crap. Now, this interviewer didn't even start the interview off by saying hello, President Trump, or hello, former President Trump, or hello, Trump. She didn't even speak to him. She just went straight into the text. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't like Kamala Harris at all. Period. Y'all know I don't like Kamala Harris, but she is the VP of the United States of America. And then if I had a conversation with her, if I had an interview with her, the first thing I would do before I even started any question would say, hello, VP Harris, how you doing? That's
there's a lot that she just said. Now, I watched a little bit of it. That interview, if you look at it the way it was set up, the way they came in, it was already a vibe in the room that was negative on the spot. It was already a negative spirit in the air. They were hostile. They already had a narrative that was in their head, and it was going to go through with that narrative and push that narrative onto Trump and not actually have a conversation, not actually have dialogue based upon what he's thinking about the state of the country, all that stuff. There wasn't any dialogue that was had through that conversation. All it was is attack after attack after attack. No context, no answers, only insults, threats, and misinformation. Now, I understand that there has to be black female representation. But the problem comes in to where there's a bias towards one group, one party, instead of being open and ready to have a conversation with all parties, instead of just having one party's narrative, one party's mindset. That's where I believe that a lot of black women cannot accurately have a interview with the Republican or an opposing party's nominee, because their bias is going to be shown throughout that. That's why I feel like a lot of these conversations should be had by men. Not saying that women can't do it, but the thing is, men will disconnect emotionally from the situation and just have the interview, focus on the interview, and then form their opinions later on after they've thought about it and processed. When it comes to an interview with a black woman or a woman in general, it's typically her emotions take over instead of logic, reasoning, and thought process.
The United States of America. And then if I had a conversation with her, if I had an interview with her, the first thing I would do before I even started any question would say, hello, VP Harris, how you doing? That's the least respect you can give to anybody. But these disrespectful tricks, they have any respect for Trump. All they did was come out with attacks from the beginning.
Tariq Nasheed also agreed they should ask important questions while maintaining a level of decorum.
Pretty objective, and this is what you're supposed to do. And this is another thing. When Trump went over there to speak to the NABJ, a lot of people are critical of them being rude, because the thing is, there's a rule. If you invite somebody to your platform or to your house or to your forum, you're supposed to, and they accept, you're supposed to give them just the proper amount of respect for just showing up in good faith. You don't bring somebody on just to browbeat them immediately. You can ask tough questions, but you don't invite somebody to your platform and get them there, and then just start browbeating them after they've accepted an invitation. You're supposed to show some kind of decorum.
But that thing with NABJ, where when they got the women up there asking these accusatory questions and kind of being rude and all that, and didn't they have Roland out there yelling in the audience? Roland, big old jolly ass, out there yelling like a damn woman, yelling stuff. Come on, man, that ain't, dude. They didn't have no men up there. See, this is what we need. We need masculinity out here. You put the women out there, and then if Trump says anything that they don't like, oh, that's misogyny, all of that stuff. See, I don't want us to be I don't want the black community to just perpetually be feminized, where the women got to represent, and Trump is out here standing on manhood business. Just the optics of it. We got Trump walking in like a man, standing up like a man, and you got a big Roland's jolly ass with his bouncing in the audience yelling, and there's women on stage. Come on, man.
Damn, Tariq. Shit. You know what? I can't even argue with what Tariq just said, but damn. Yep, I ain't even going to get on that one, but damn Tariq. Tariq, he said it, I didn't.
The problem with Roland is, in his mind, he thinks he should be the main person in charge to speak to and for black people. He's yelling in the audience that Trump is a liar over and over again when he had Tiffany Teflon in his face and allowed her to lie for an hour over and over again, undermining the black women and black men that's been fighting for justice, while all the crooks in Cook County and the whole state of Illinois allowed her to steal millions from black people and ruin their businesses. He didn't have that energy at all with her.
Whatever, I do what I want.
At the end of the day, Roland, you don't run the NABJ. You're just a member. He's acting like it's a company and he's the owner. He's only mad because he wasn't chosen to interview Trump. He was talking as if he was standing up against it being all black women and wanted a black man in there, knowing that if a black man was selected other than him, he would still be throwing a tantrum. You would think that an organization that's always speaking on diversity, they would want a black man up there. But for Roland, this wasn't about that. It was about him. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started.
Shout out to Pink Book Lessons on that. And that's honestly the truth. And the crazy part about this is this. Roland only wants what Roland wants. Okay? He only wants what he wants, and he doesn't care what he has to do to get it. If he has to pretend like he's fighting for something for black men, he'll do it. If he has to pretend like he's fighting for black women, he will. If he has to fake like he's fighting for the black people to get the things that they need to get in this country, he'll do that too. It's all about perception with Roland. He wants you to think that he's fighting for you just because he's a black man. But if you look at Roland's stance in politics and the way that Roland acts with a lot of people, he doesn't, if you listen real closely, you start to see a pattern with him. He'll say black media, but in reality, he means himself. If you look at the way that he was talking about having money sent and allocated towards black media, he was saying like, if you can get money to black media, let's just say for my company specifically, if you give this amount of money to my company, I can run ads, I can do all of this because and I can produce it and send it out to millions of people. He'll signal that is for all black media personalities and all black media companies. But in reality, when you listen to that specific part of the sentence of, if you give me the money, let's just say you give me the money, he's insinuating that he wants that money. He wants it. He could give less of a fuck about anybody else. He wants the money. And that's what a lot of black people have to realize and see. Because if you listen to Roland real closely, he telling you who he is in your face. Problem is, y'all want motherfuckers playing in y'all face all the goddamn time. And personally, I ain't that type of Negro that's gonna actually let that shit happen. But anyways, like, share, subscribe, channel, support the podcast, and support.com. If you guys want to support the podcast, please go to Black Star Podcast on the Patreon. And also, if you guys want to send anything through Cash App, Skyrocket04, I will catch you guys later. And I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.